Hey guys, this is Beyond the Noise, Political Monday episode. In today's episode, we're going to dive deeper into Kenya's dysfunction in terms of corruption, economic mismanagement, unemployment, and betrayal to the youth. It empowers the Kenyan Gen Zs and Millennials to reclaim their voice using the Constitution as a tool for transformation. Now, in today's episode, we are going to actually think as a nation and decide together as our listeners, viewers, and the hosts, because we live in a country where talent dies in silence and dreams drown in debt, and potential is traded for politics. Now, Kenya, a nation rich in promise and poor in leadership, is lagging behind economically, socially, and even development-wise. Uh, Today, we are going to flip the script. This is Political Monday. I'm here with my friend.
Charles Omambia.
Yes, and today we are going to tackle the generation that refuses to be silenced. Omambia,
Yes.
we are the Gen Zs,
Yes.
all right?
Yes.
And we have observed, we have experienced, and we have gone through a lot
Yeah.
as we've grown up. Now, let me go straight into the heart of why we're doing this and why Kenyans need to listen to our episodes and our segments and everything that we do so that we enlighten them and tell them what actually is going behind the curtains in Kenya, right?
Yes.
We are going to talk about the rotten system. What is really happening in Kenya today? What can you talk about the rotten system in Kenya? Because clearly everybody can attest that we have a rotten system from the top to the bottom, right? What can you say about the rotten system in Kenya's government?
The Kenyan system needs an overhaul because already the system is rotten. So that's why we need an overhaul.
Yeah.
Because you have ghost projects whereby a project is being declared that it's there, but in the real sense it's not applicable in the ground. Whereby we have the Aror Kimarel Dam. It was a lot of money was being borrowed for the construction of that dam, but up to now, that dam is not functional. That is a case example of the rotten how this system is rotten. We have the Galana Kalalu farming in Tana River, whereby government invested almost to a tune of billions of money when the CS of education was Eugene Wamalwa. They invested heavily on that irrigation scheme, but up to now we haven't seen the benefits. And recently, that scheme was being auctioned to a Saudi Arabia farm. People from the Middle East are actually running that farm currently, and they're farming using that land. Yeah, so it has become a private investment at the moment. So we say that this system is not the core because most of these projects that are supposed to help the Kenyan Mwananchi, they are not helping us. They are helping personal people individually. Yeah.
Right. Omambia,
Yes.
sikutaka jump right into the examples.
Yeah.
It's okay that you've mentioned a few. Those are just better of you, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted you to do ni tuanze na mbona mwananchi wa Kenya anaweza kuwa nafikiria that we have a rotten system. What makes a Kenyan citizen, a normal one, think that we have a rotten system? You know, from the top to the bottom. It has to start with the presidency downwards. So, if I'm not overstepping on your comments, I want to say that the Kenyan system is rotten because even corruption itself starts from the presidency. You know,
Yes.
down to the cabinet. I mean, those are ministers, down to the parliament, and eventually to the people.
Or the Public Service Commission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are living behind the judiciary. Now, Omambia, we've had instances whereby Kenyans can see for themselves why we are saying the Kenyan system is rotten, right?
Yeah.
The first example, to be fair, is the COVID-19 scandal, which went way back in the COVID era, right? You saw funds being mismanaged and people died because of the resulting consequences, right? And then we have the Asla Fund, which came recently with President William Ruto's presidency. And it has been marred by a lot of inconsistency and so many other inconsequential facts. We have the youth unemployment, which is becoming a menace, right?
Yes.
We had the Galana Kulalu, you've said about that.
Yeah.
We had the JKI deal,
Yeah.
whereby we had
deal.
the Adani being cancelled because Kenyans felt like it wasn't worthy their spending, right?
Yeah.
And so many other examples that we can't exhaust at this juncture.
Even the recent one, the Nyota program,
Yeah,
which is
sure.
a replica of the Kenya KIOP, Kenya Youth Enterprise Program.
Sure.
It's just a replica of that system because how can you tell me that it only allows people up to Form 4 level? So it means if you go to university, it's illegal.
True. Like, how can you bar somebody from getting aid?
Yeah, and it's a business,
Economical
business grant. It's a grant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you went to college or university,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't make sense. I mean, who is advising this government? And in that regard, we've had a lot, you know, the jobs Maju with Afredim Tours Ministry. We've had examples and testimonials from people who have gone to Russia and other countries who've said and they have attested that they're being treated badly, right?
Yes.
You go to Russia thinking you're gonna get maybe 115,000, as they say, from the ministry. Then when you get there, you find that you're being put at the forefront
Like
of the battleground.
The Kenya, no, the Russian-Ukraine war.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is where people are being sent,
Yeah.
whereby they're being put at the forefront to fight the Ukrainians.
Yeah.
You see, you are Kenyan, you just went for a normal job.
Greener pastures.
Yeah, and then you're being put up for the riskiest job. Even Russians, some Russians don't get to take it.
No, but recently I can say I am happy because even the Haiti mission has been cancelled. You know, at least people are coming back.
Look at Haiti. People went to Haiti because Ruto was given money, right?
Even the money that was being given, they said that the money it has been swindled, swindled,
Yeah.
because those people in Haiti they are not being even paid up to now. Some police officers are complaining of payment issues.
But they've never been paid
up to now.
Even if we come to this Chan tournament that happened in Kenya, police officers are complaining in the newspapers that they haven't been paid up to this moment. You see why we're talking about the rotten system? It is affecting everyone, regardless of
leadership,
your job or occupation or leadership or lineation or anything that, for that matter, determines what you think of the government. Now, Omambia.
Yes.
For our next point, I want us to focus on the power of knowledge. How can the youth, now that we've talked about how the system swindles and mismanages our funds, how do we, as the youth, Gen Zs, and the not so youth people who we call millennials, how can we get to outsmart the system? You know, it's not easy to start with, but it's doable and very, very doable.
Yeah, and I know it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yes, it's not impossible. That's right.
Yeah, it's
Now,
hard, but not impossible.
what is a fact is that Gen Zs are not lazy.
Yeah,
Gen Zs are disillusioned. You know, with the political sphere, politicking here and there, outsmarting the average Kenyan youth. Uh, we have knowledge which is being disillusioned into the youth's mind. Now, knowledge is the new revolution, you know?
yeah,
That is why even the government of Kenya, as we speak right now, people, it is trying to silence whatever we are trying to do as at the moment. You see, the cybercrime laws are trying to intimidate and actually get us to stay away from such vital information and sharing of state affairs together with our fellow citizens. Now, Omambia,
yes.
if I was to speak about information in the youth and Gen Z sphere, you see, we have a lot of articles that empower and enable us to challenge the current status quo, right?
Yes.
The first article I want to tackle today is Article 35 of the Kenyan Constitution. Article 35 of the Kenyan Constitution states that right to access of information to every citizen of Kenya, irregardless of their political stand, right? Now, this one states that every citizen has the right to access of information held by the state or an individual or another person, for that matter, required for protection and handling of fundamental rights and freedom. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, why is this article so important? Right to information.
I can say that correct information is important.
Mm-hmm.
In instance, but you know, if you know, they say that lack of information is lack of knowledge. If you
Exactly.
don't have
True.
information, you don't have the knowledge. So, the issue that the Kenyan system is suppressing is the access to information, whereby if you speak about something that maybe hurts the government
Or another government sympathizer.
or it's a critical issue,
Mm-hmm.
the government may want to suppress or not even suppress, no, even they can even so change information to be in another way, so that you maybe misinterpretation of information through the media, social media, whereby they create hashtags on Twitter. Bloggers are being paid to promote some hashtags. Yeah.
True. Now, Omambia, you see the reason as to why we gonna have to spend some little time,
Yeah.
more little time
Yeah.
than we've had
Yes.
before,
Yes.
defining
Yeah.
and trying to make the Kenyan populace understand this power of knowledge is because we need this Kenyan youth, Gen Zs, vijana huko nje waelewe mbona they have the upper hand in terms of decision making as far as running the country is concerned. You see, even the electoral body in Kenya knows that the youth, that is the Gen Zs and below, have the highest number of people and voters in today's voting system,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, the next right I want us to focus on is the right to education, health, and social security. Right?
Yes.
You see, this exact article states that every citizen in Kenya has a right to accessible and adequate housing and responsible standards of sanitation. He or she has a right to free to be free from hunger. Yeah? He or she has a right to social security. They have a right to education. Now, you see, when we talk about adequate quantity of clean and safe water as your right, you know, you need to know that, Omambia, that you
basic
as a citizen have a right
basic needs.
To access free
Education
and adequate clean quality water. You know that? As illustrated in the right to education, health, and social security. Now, is it the same we're enjoying under the Kenya Kwanza regime, Omambia?
No. On that, the right to education, health, and social security. From a look, even you see this government is like it's pressing people from going to university because most people.
Let me cut you short in a while before you continue. I want to ask you like 3 or 4 questions. The first question is that have you had the right to free and standard education since you were born?
No. I can say that I've been privileged to have been in a system that my parents are able to find
they were able to afford your education needs. Now that means it wasn't free and standard, right? Now, Omambia, have you had free and standard health care services?
No.
When you go for SHA or another thing that is whatsoever going on in Kenya,
currently even my SHA is not working.
It's not working.
It's
but
not
you've
active.
Registered and you
it's not active
and you've paid.
Yeah, and I was being deducted the whole of last year. They have been deducted, but it's not active. So I'm wondering the money that has been deducted, where did it go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, social security.
Yes.
You see, that one covers a lot of segments. Social security means you need to have the clean water we've talked about, sanitation wise. Then you need to have drainage systems fixed for you wherever you're going, and so other things that are socially mandated to make a human life livable. All right. Now, those ones are not enjoyable under the current regime. That one we have to insist and we have to persist on it so that every Kenyan gets to understand it. This is not a political stance. It is the reality of things, right?
Yeah.
Now, Omambia.
It's beyond the noise.
Yes, it is, we speaking as it is.
Yeah.
Raw facts, right? Now, Omambia, we want to jump right into Article 81 of the Kenyan Constitution. Now, people, these articles we're mentioning, we're not geniuses. I'm not a lawyer by profession. I'm just a teacher trying to educate you in political matters. The reason as to why we're doing this is because we want a system that works. Now, Article 81 of the Kenyan Constitution states that every citizen has the right to free and fair elections, right? Free and fair elections. Now, the freedom of citizens to exercise the responsibilities and authority to exercise their political rights. That is the free and fair conducted elections done by an independent body, right? Now we have the election. Let me. It is not. I want us. We will come there. We will come to that point. Now the independent body has to conduct these elections through a secret ballot, right? That is illustrated in our Kenyan Constitution. Now the freedom from violence. in a political scene that is guaranteed to us as citizens by the Kenyan Constitution. Freedom from intimidation, transparency, and impartial, efficient exercise. We need to have a free, intimidatory, transparent, and fair exercise conducted, right?
Yes.
Omambia, what do you think of the Kenyan setup in terms of the electoral body that is in place to conduct the Kenyan elections?
Uh, from our previous records, even our track record of the Independent Electoral Commission of Kenya, the IBC, we can see that they seem to lack consistency, and also from the era of Samuel Kivitu, we have had Samuel Kivitu, Chebukati. At least Chebukati, he tried, but I don't think he tried because
He didn't try. He just
yeah,
messed us up.
he tried in the first term, whereby he streamlined the IBC. At least we could see the system could work, but I don't think
Well, Omambia,
no?
to cut you short,
Yeah.
I want to tell you that Chebukati didn't try. You see?
Yeah.
If he did, the election wouldn't have been nullified.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
It was marred by electoral malpractices,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That means he wasn't nowhere near trying. What you want to say
Yeah.
is that
The policies, maybe
the policies and the people
yeah,
overseeing the implementation of policies
yeah.
are not that transparent, are they? They're not that free, they're not that fair. Now, that one can be actually challenged, and it can be solved through vigilant voting and vigilance in guarding and counting the votes, because we have the power, we are the people, we decide who is gonna
But
lead us.
in an instance like in our Kenyan system, this Kenyan electoral system, whereby people are picked, this is my person who shall be. For instance, when the chair of IBC was being advertised, we saw young people advertising for the job, but they weren't even near being shortlisted for that job.
Right, you're right. Corruption, that's where corruption comes in, right?
Yeah.
You see, that is corruption and favorism. But what I want to tell our young people out there, me included, is that we do not have to fear or feel intimidated by the people chosen to stay in office. What we need to do is come out in large numbers, take your votes, register, and go to the polling station. Vote for the person you feel like they are meant to straighten and streamline duties and services for your well-being. Then the rest we can decide when all of us have agreed that we chose this person and now this person is being declared a winner. Then where did these votes go from here to here, right?
Yeah.
Now, Omambia, we have the last article I want us to tackle today before we move on to the next point. That is the Public Service Accountability Act. The article that talks on public service accountability. You see, Omambia, this specific article states that every public servant has the responsibility to be characterized by high professional ethics, efficient and economic use of resources, responsive, prompt, and equitable service delivery. Let me repeat that for the sake of our wananchi wenye hawezi elewa ama wanaweza elewa but wanashangaa, je, why am I going too fast, right? Omambia, it states that every public servant has the right to be characterized by high professional ethics. You get? Efficient and economic use of resources, okay, in
Yeah.
your ministry or any other office that you might be given. And then we have responsive and prompt service delivery. Efficient and prompt service
Delivery.
delivery. Omambia, I want you to speak to our listeners and viewers. Tell them, in whatever offices you get to go, do you encounter such acts, or what is the experience as much as public service delivery is concerned?
According to that article put it to the public service accountability, yeah, in every public institution, anything by the government, there's something we call auditing. The essence of auditing is whereby we account how the money has been spent to the financial year. So I can say, according to this article, yeah, it's applicable in every public office, but if you walk up to these offices, accountability is not there. Records are just cooked up to cover up. Yeah, the system is just mixed up because if you could if everybody could have accounted the money they are used in the ministries, we couldn't have any shortages. For example, the Minister of Education said that people are missing classes, students don't have books, and yet Minister of Education has the highest budget, which is almost to a tune of billions.
Yeah,
So the issue maybe is
billions.
accountability, whereby in the recent, even in this year, whereby the Minister of Education exposed ghost schools. A school is registered, but it's not even there. And so it receives capitation, and that capitation goes to a wastage because if that money was being put into utilization, other students could not be suffering because this goes to workers and goes to schools. Everything that is goes affects you because you misappropriate funds and people keep on lamenting on the same acts.
Right.
Yes, that is my view on the public service accountability. Yeah.
You see, this very same article,
Yeah.
it mandates the involvement of the public in policy formulation. You know, that is simply known as public participation,
Station.
right?
Yes.
Now, for most of the policies made in Kenya, I can't clearly come out and say that the public has been involved. Simply because those people who are in power, those ones in position, they tend to think that they have the final say. But you see, the Constitution of Kenya, dated back to 2010, gives us the sole mandate to actually get to know what is happening in the Kenyan political sphere. It is policy formulation and implementation as far as service delivery is concerned. Now, Umambia,
Yes.
um, I feel like it's time we went to the giant in the room. We tackled it. The real cost. How corruption hurts you personally. Because everything we've stated is enabled because of corruption. Right?
Yeah.
Now, make somebody out there understand in detail why we trying to say that everything that is happening wrong in Kenya is enabled by corruption. That is the real cost of corruption in the Kenyan citizenry sphere. What can you talk about corruption?
In the Kenyan sphere. For instance, here in Kenya, we have a debt that is keeps on rising day and night. If you wake up, see that we have trillions. There's amounting to trillions. So and I guess this debt that is that is accumulated up to a thing of 1 trillion. It is an obvious debt because partially part of the money you can't see where it went. And we are still feeling the effects up to now. Heavy taxations, People don't have amenities. Sha is not working. No, this is the real cost of corruption. You have graduated, but you're still not employed because the system is not absorbing people. That is the real cost of corruption. Yeah.
Right. Omambia, you see, every Kenyan needs to understand that corruption isn't just a headline. It's not some newspaper headline out there. Corruption is why your rent is high.
Yeah.
Corruption is why your food is high.
Yeah.
Corruption is why
Your
petrol,
job is high.
that is fuel, is high. Corruption is why you don't have a job right now. Corruption is why your internet is being censored,
Yeah.
right? Even hospitals are not affordable. Go to schools. Parents are being told to pay inflated prices and fees.
Examination fees.
Examination fees, tuition fees, name them. They are all inflated.
Activity fees.
And it is simply because of corruption. Because every single coin going into corruption, as we've stated before, is education not delivered, hospitals not built, and hospital beds not delivered, fuel not subsidized, food skyrocketing, and so on and so forth. Now, the real reason mbona mwananchi wa kawaida unafaa as a person upigane na ufisadi ni kwa sababu mtoto wako akifukuzwa shule, ile school fees yenye inalipwa na basari inakuanga haifai. Kwa hivyo, if we talk about developed countries, we have those bursary fees and funds being directly into the Ministry of Education. You don't have to give a parent a bursary so that he or she can take
the money to school.
back to school.
It doesn't make sense.
Like what is that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why would
it's like giving you my money, and then I go and stand somewhere. I wait
for you to give me back the money?
It's the government giving you. I give you money.
Yeah.
And then I come and stand behind you and then I ask you, where's my money?
Tell me why.
Yeah.
I registered for SHA,
Yeah.
which Ruto said
Yeah.
it would work.
Yeah.
I paid the initial fee. They came up with some other exaggerated fees. I tried to pay twice. Then I got a minor accident, went to the hospital, and then they checked the system and told me what? Your SHA is not? It's not working. I mean, I've paid all those fees. I've done the activation. I've registered. Why is it not working? Simply because of corruption, right? New fisadi. Yes. Now, Omambia.
Yeah.
Kenya's debt is around 11 trillion nationally. It's over.
Yeah.
11 trillion. It's affecting even the forthcoming generation, isn't it?
Yes.
You see, even the unborn kids right now, they need to pay
tax. The current debt. Imagine a child who has not been born. If he's born now, he has a debt.
Exactly.
Automatically.
I mean, make that make sense. It can't make sense, can it? Now, corruption steals hope. It steals momentum, and it sure does steal the future, right?
Yeah.
For us to work as a system, as a government, and collectively as a nation, the first thing that the next leader after Kasongo is gone, because he has to go either before 2027 or by 2027, that is the common ground agreement or consensus, if you like, has to make a declaration that number one in his or her tackling will be graft, because corruption is the main poison that is killing the Kenyan future, isn't it?
Yeah.
Omambia,
Yes.
now we are not powerless, are we?
Yes.
We are not powerless, but we are the most connected generation in Kenya's history. Do you know why this is so? It is because we have access to information, we have experience growing up, and we have testimonials and other things that make us
Even the most educated generation.
exactly.
Yeah, because from the era of I guess from the era of since when Kibaki came, the free primary education up to now it's around since up to now that is around 20.
That is like 23 years.
Yeah, 23 years. So somebody who has been brought up in that system has already benefited from the free primary education.
free
Yeah.
secondary.
Yeah. So if you compare the intellectual rate of the Gen Z, that's why we are a real threat because if somebody is empowered, it becomes a real threat because you cannot change his mind. Yeah, he has various dimensions. That's why even the Kenyan government fears Gen Zs. That is because we are empowered.
And we are more knowledgeable.
Yeah, we have
We
technology.
are more informed.
Yeah.
We know what we want.
Yeah.
We know that we don't want a system that doesn't work.
Yeah.
We know that we want jobs. We want fair and standard education. We want affordable health care. We want sustainable and standardized housing.
Because it's something that is enshrined in the constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is not. It's not a favor the government is doing us,
Imagine
right?
if somebody gives you a job, it's not a favor that is done to you.
Exactly.
It's because you need that job.
Right.
You need that job, man.
Because we deserve it.
Yeah, you need that job.
It was written in the constitution by our forefathers, right? Those people who saw like Kenya needed to go this direction. Now, Omambia, to end up on today's episode, I would want you to give out a sentiment or your closing remarks for that matter.
My closing remarks on the political scene and the scenario of Kenya is that people should be awakened. This is the time of awakening, so that we don't remain the same, like same room, same mentality, dimension. This is the time that you should wake up. You should also know what you're supposed to have. Know that having something is not a privilege. Like access to healthcare is not a privilege. It's something that everyone should be.
It's a right.
Yeah, it's a right.
Yes.
Education.
It's a right.
Housing
is a right.
Yeah. Everything that we are fighting for is something that
even clean water is
because
a right.
you pay taxes. Imagine you are being taxed heavily, but you are not feeling the benefit of that taxation.
The effects of your taxation are not coming to light.
Roads, we don't have roads. We don't even have a 6-lane in Kenya. 4-lane.
We do not.
Yeah, we don't have. The only we have a 4-lane and it's thicker highway. Thicker road.
Yeah, right. Remember. Now for me, what I would want to tell wananchi huku nje ni wangwana, kitu cha kwanza tusomeni katiba sisi wote. Tusome katiba tuelewe vizuri, because somewhere in the constitution lies our true powers to overhaul and actually install a working system. Now, if you can't change the system, you have to outsmart it. If they build walls, build networks. If they silence the truth, try to whisper it loudly. The future isn't for sale. It is for us who prepare to tackle whatever the consequences that evaluate and effectively emerge from our actions. You see, we went for the hustler government, and right now everybody,
Kazi ni kazi.
most of us,
Yeah, there's
to
no
feel your hustler narrative.
you know, you cannot tell me kazi is kazi.
Na
And you're an engineer, you've gone 4 years in campus.
so utaambia mtu kazi ni kazi,
kazi.
umpe wheelbarrow. Utaambia mtu amegraduate engineer ama lawyer ama nini, kazi ni kazi, uende umwambie bebe mawe mjengo.
Atianze kuuza smoking.
And then what makes it even more sadder is that these people telling us kazi ni kazi, their kids, the family members wako kazi mzuri. Mtu ni ambassador, mtu ni uko juu HR, mtu ni assistant manager pali, like they have all those sorts of work that we envy to have, but sisi hapa nje tunaambiwa aje walala hoi, kazi ni kazi, we beba wheelbarrow enda mje. Ati I have brought affordable housing now, nyota programs, hustler funds, nini. But ukiangalia kwa hao watu wote wenye wanapewa hizo vitu, hakuna mtoto wa mkubwa kwa hapo. It's all those people for the peasants, si ndio? Yeah. Now people, let me encourage you to go through the Kenyan political experience, research, read the Kenyan constitution as it is. Do not extort. Usiache influencer ama comedian na kusomea constitution ama law anza kukuelaboratea vile inakuwa. Soma we mwenyewe, kama ni translate it to Kiswahili or whichever language unaweza feel you comfortable with.
You can even use AI to translate.
Yes. Yeah. Siku hizi AI imekam.
GPT unaweka cha article 1 ya kutranslate.
Inakuletea everything.
You can even summarize it. You can even read it as a novel.
Because frankly, that is how we gonna defeat the regime. Tukiacha hivi tutapata 2027 mshtuko wa moyo, na mimi I'm not in for that. Now, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us. Switch on and stay tuned for our next episode.
And also subscribe, guys. Yeah. At Beyond the Noise 59.
All our social media platforms. We have found at Beyond the Noise 59 at Instagram, Beyond the Noise 59, Twitter, Beyond the Noise 59, Facebook, Beyond the Noise 59, and YouTube at Beyond the Noise 59. TikTok, you find us at Beyond the Noise 59. Thanks for tuning in. See you next episode.